Let's do this.
After high demand.
Listening to you and Justin, that's a professional podcast right there.
The man with a voice.
He's got a wicked voice on it too.
He does.
He's got oh my goodness. I listen to his voice. I'm like, dude, you can go places with that voice. You are freaking phenomenal.
Has his own podcast. And what does he think?
Oh,
BoyStick presents the Honestly Lazy Podcast.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it is your boy Stick with the first official Honestly Lazy podcast with your host, me, Boy Stick. What'd you guys think of that little intro there? I'd like to give a big shout out for the intro, which was by Suited Bird, a pal of mine from the States that I met through a Discord group. Did that whole thing for me. Besides, I put in the little clips of the two guys talking about me on a podcast over on the Hotter Show, and I don't think he really knows that I kind of grabbed that clip, but I think he'll be pleasantly surprised that I put it in my little intro. But yeah, welcome. This is the first actual Honestly Lazy podcast, and I know you're probably sitting there like, what you and Craig did was pretty much the Honestly Lazy podcast, but Craig never looked at it as such. So, because like I said in the last episode, I want to get a website going, I need a lot of different type of content. And since there's been some reason a bit of a demand for me to actually do a podcast, because apparently I have a good voice, which I don't believe. I actually really hate my voice, but I have decided to cave in and finally give you a podcast. But, like I say, I don't know why you guys asked for this, but I figured the Honestly Lazy podcast, the title itself, you know what it's going to be like. What's the difference between the Honestly Lazy podcast and what the BoyStick channel is this podcast is going to be uncut raw, where BoyStick is like 6 hours of editing after reacting to a video, and that sucks. But it's always good to change things up, and with the website coming in and a bunch of stuff that's going to be happening with a bunch of great people, I figured I might as well get a podcast on my own website, because why the hell not? So, I know I'm a bit awkward. I'm not good. It's been so long since I've been in front of a camera. It's been so long since I've been in front of my mic. It's been so long since I've done anything like this, but I'm excited as hell to finally be in front of the camera, in front of the microphone, and for the future of BoyStick, Honestly Lazy Show, the website, just pretty much everything that's happening. I'm just so excited. My mind's clear, and I'm mentally more prepared for the future. So, let's move on to what the actual podcast of this episode is, which is pretty much, I wrote a little list on a cue card here one night of some YouTube type videos or content creators that really, throughout, since I started watching YouTube when I was like, I don't know, 11 years old till now, there's 5 on this list, but I got a feeling as I start going, we're actually going to get a lot more, because like these are the 5 that I kind of like, well, who stuck out since I was 11 years old and I started watching to now. And there's way more in this, but there's 5. So these are guys I always enjoyed watching, and these are guys that kind of like got me to the next step for myself, who wanted to become a content creator. And you will really be like, wow, he's really all over the place, because this isn't like what you expect for like a top 5. This isn't like, just a bunch of like personalities. It's all over the place. Excuse me as I take a swig of water. I'm in a very hot room, and I tried to use this fan that's behind me to cool me off, but guess what? This fucking thing picks it up. So I'm just going to die and drink water. But yeah, so that's pretty much what today's going to be, is YouTubers from when I first started watching YouTube to pretty much now. But the 5 that I have on here are pretty much all old, but they were badass to me growing up, and I don't really watch them anymore, or they just kind of stopped uploading. But I have to honor them with this list. So with that being said, on the old Honestly Lazy cue cards that we always used on Craig and my show. By the way, before I get into the list, Craig will be back on the website. Craig's just extremely busy. Craig is pretty much Honestly Lazy Show. He has to be on the website at some point. But I'm getting other people more involved who are really more dedicated to being a content creator. Craig is a good content creator. He comes up with great ideas. But he has something that I don't have, which is a life. So let's just get into this list now. I'm sorry. I know I keep getting off track. But like I said, 6 hours of editing makes me actually entertaining on BoyStick. Maybe a half hour of me trying to do this raw will probably make you want to kill yourself. Anywho, let's start this list off with the number 1 YouTube creator that I really loved watching growing up. And the first one is Mr. Black's Movie Reviews. Yeah, I remember him actually. Mr. Black's Movie Reviews. I think he was actually one of the first movie reviewers on YouTube. I'm probably 100% wrong with that. But he definitely was the first one that I really liked. I remember watching him when I was, I think, 12 years old, and he had the coolest intro to his videos. He would, it was before all the legal bullshit when it came to like music and stuff. So he used all different types of music. He used the guys walking out of the restaurant from Reservoir Dogs, and it was just, I don't know what the editing was for it, but it grabbed you. And with all the other use of the movie trailers and stuff, it started getting harder and harder for him to do his reviews because he couldn't even show the trailers anymore because they would just take down his video. That was when the copyright bullshit really started happening on YouTube. Made sense, kind of didn't to me, especially because I was 12 years old. I didn't know what the hell was going on, but Mr. Black had a decent following from what I remember, but he was always the first one I'd see. If a movie came out, if you were going to watch a movie trailer, he was always the top guy to have the review. He was always the first one to have the review, or he had the most views for the review. And it started getting harder and harder for him. And I remember it went from movie reviews to him talking about the copyright stuff, I think. Something like that. It was, his content started getting really, I'm not a smart guy, so I don't know what to really say, political, I guess, with what YouTube was doing with the site and how they were really starting to kind of take control of what content creators could put in their videos and what they couldn't put in their videos. At the same time, big companies are coming and saying they're like using our songs and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure I don't want to say he closed his account. I think he got suspended or something. I'm pretty sure he actually didn't get he didn't close the channel because he was sick of YouTube. I think they suspended him or they took it down because of what he was doing. But I always liked Mr. Black's movie reviews. And for all I know, someone's going to watch this video and say, he was like a terrible person outside. I don't know. I was 13. I just liked his videos. But he was very unique when it came to, I guess, how he reviewed the films. Like nowadays, like with people like YourMovieSuck.org, like he's like a movie fanatic. And if Mr. Black tried to come out now against guys like YourMovieSucks.org, he wouldn't make it. He definitely wouldn't. He would give decent reviews for its time, but nowadays, there's no way. There's no way. People go really hardcore into reviewing movies, which is fine by me, because then I can really be like, well, I really don't want to see this movie, or I really do want to see this movie. The next one, let's go to number 2. I really don't have little notes underneath any of these guys. These are just off the top of my head of, why do I think these guys are good? But the next one is The Noob Show. Oh yeah, The Noob Show. Pretty much one of the most respected, well, I guess if you guys knew The Noob Show, you're going to be like, wow, he really was lame, because he was a RuneScape content creator. Back in the day when RuneScape content creators weren't just PKing and, I don't know, skilling. He had the Noob Show series, which was it ended at 10 episodes, and it was the life of a noob and how he tried to make money, and he had all these funny ass characters in it, like the evil chicken who would always try to screw him over, or like he was always just a bad guy, or he would just get picked to go do a random quest for like Santa Claus. And the reason why I added him to this list is because I kind of was started out, I wanted to be a RuneScape content creator, and he was the one who really inspired me to try it. I did make RuneScape content, and I did take down my own channel because kids at school found out and made fun of me, and I didn't like being made fun of, so I took it all down. But I kind of wish to this day that I never took it down, because I want to hear how much my voice has changed since back then. But with the Noob Show, like, there's no way I could have ever made a video better than what he was doing back in the day, because he did do it all himself. All the voices, he would edit his voice. His storylines were way more I guess professional, kind of. That's the way I'm kind of looking at it. Like he was funny. Like, he was funny as hell. And he, like I said, he was the biggest. He had like the biggest RuneScapers on. He would interview them as like a joke. Like, he would just be like, oh, hey, blah, blah, blah. And like just say one more sentence and then be on to the next guy to interview. But he was just so different, and he was so creative. And because he got so big, he actually got invited out to see JagX's, I guess, office. He got to see some stuff that no one ever got to see. Him and I think a YouTuber RuneScape guy named Excel went out. And he went really far with it. But the Noob Show series was only 10 episodes. And then I think he had like 3 other series. He was a very creative guy, and the last thing I heard from him on that channel is he answered a question of, will he come back? And he said, no, I've gone to film school. And I'm like, well, that's sick. Like, if you're going to film school, because he's very, very creative, and I hope he makes it far. Because I went to Durham College for video production, so I don't think I'm even near what I really think I can learn in the film industry. And nowadays it's like I like being in front of the camera more, as you can tell, than behind the camera trying to make a shot nice. I'm very impatient when it comes with the camera. But if for some reason the Noob Show ever watches this, like, I hope you're doing well, and welcome to the Honestly Lazy podcast, I guess. I don't know. I'm not good at this. I am really not good at this. All right. 2 down, 3 to go. Am I doing good? I don't know if I'm doing good or not. I'm not good at these top 5s, I guess. Top 5s? Yeah, I guess. But I'll probably be adding on to this afterwards. All right, so let's get on to number 3. And number 3 is Mystery Guitar Man. It's funny how I actually found Mystery Guitar Man, because how I found Mystery Guitar Man was on my first YouTube channel. Before he was anything, he actually sent me a DM saying, check out my channel and let me know what you think. 'Cause, like, I know, like, especially back in the day, like, some of the YouTubers that are big now were like DMing every channel they could, saying, hey, will you check out my content? Hey, will you check out my content? Hey, will you check out my content? And he happened to DM me, and I was like, I think I was 14. I think I started watching at 13, and I really got into him at 14. But when I first started, he was actually nothing. Like, a few videos, but he would, because back in the day, they had those little invisible squares on the video, right? So you could click on that, and it'd send you to another video or whatever. Even if you check on the old BoyStick videos, you can see at the end of my videos, 2 videos will pop up, like the latest one and just a random one or whatever. And I would have those around him, so you click on it, go straight to it. So what he always did was he made a game out of it. So I forget what game it was. It was like Pac-Man or something that he created on a wall. And he took a picture, and it'd move, and you only had a few seconds, and then the square would pop up, and you'd have to click on it, and then it'd keep going, and you just have to pay attention, see where it was going to go, and if you didn't do it in time, you'd die. To me, that was always like, when I first saw that, I was like, wow, that's a different way to kind of experiment with YouTube, because all that to me was brand new, and he came out and he started really trying to figure out ways to use it that no one else ever has before. And then I really started getting into him when he started doing really very time-consuming stuff. I remember a video where he played a song, but he'd play one string every hour. And because he did that, or was it every 20 minutes? It was something like that. And he would sit on a porch, and it looked like it was cold out. He's all bundled up from what I remember. I'd have to go back and watch it again. But so he played like every 45 minutes or something like that. It was around like that. And when the video came together with every picture, the sun's going down behind him, and he's just going back and forth, up and down, and every chord's hitting with the song. I always thought that was kind of cool, and I always wondered how the hell he actually I don't know how he did some of his ads, because it started getting really, really advanced. Like, he went from like doing that little stuff or taking pictures and, videos going down, and then he'd do like 4 of him using random objects to make a song, like rubber bands, glasses, everything like that. And then he just went just full send and made these incredible edits where it was him. And like, I'm sure nowadays it wouldn't be that big of a deal for some editor to do it. But for me at 14, the editing for him, he would always say at the end of his video, if you can figure out how I did it, like, leave it in the comments. And I never even tried to figure out how he did some of his edits. If you don't believe me, go check out his like old stuff. You need to look at like 2010. No, not even 2009, 2010. I'm sure if I look back at it now, I'm going like, oh, well, just green screens or something. But like, for a 14-year-old doesn't know shit about video production or being a content creator and really wanting to be one. And I was like, I have to go up against someone like that. I was like, I'm never going to make it. And even, like, I still haven't made it. But nowadays, I'm like, I don't care if I make it. I'm just going to make content and have fun. That's the way I look at it. And hopefully one day I make millions. Yeah, right. Like, that'll ever happen. Anywho, Mystery Guitar Man deserves a lot of respect. That's all I'm trying to say. And he went from broke as fuck to... he was doing really good for a while. And I don't know, I haven't watched him in years. I'm pretty sure he has to be at least in the film industry somewhere. He has to be doing something right, because his editing skills were too good to just kind of disappear from the scene. But if he did disappear, probably something came up, because there's no way he'd just be like, oh, I'm done. I don't think he would. Not with those editing skills. Anywho, let's move on to my next one, which is a old YouTube series. I wonder if you guys know this series. Leave a comment or leave a like just so I know. But do you guys know this series called RB in Chief? This was hands down. It's funny because the Noob Show joined Machinima, and that's where all of his content was. That's when I finally subscribed to Machinima. And then I saw playing RuneScape, and I said, well, screw it. And I really forgot to unsubscribe to Machinima. And I remember one day seeing RB and Chief. And at that point, I was a huge Halo 3 fan. And I remember watching this episode, and I literally was laughing my ass off. So let me give you a little bit of a background of what RB and Chief is, if you don't know what it is. It's pretty much just an Arbiter action figure and a Chief action figure hanging out. And Arbiter's supposed to be really smart, and Master Chief is supposed to be really dumb and horny. The writing and the voice work is simple as hell. The filming was simple as hell, but the story was just so funny that I don't think I ever really hated an episode. It started getting bad to me. I don't even know if it's still going. I know the guy has his own YouTube channel now, and he does his own podcast, but like he used like Microsoft, like Dan and Microsoft Steve or something like that for their voices. And he just wrote all this shit. And he really made the characters unique with just those two voices. It was just the writing and the way that he made them. The episode that I watched, my first ever episode, was called The Wedding. And it's about them going to a wedding and pretty much crashing it in Halo 3. Like, they play Halo 3 all day. And I remember watching that, and then I brought my brother down. I showed him it. I remember that night we sat and watched every episode up to that, because that was their newest episode. We watched every single one in a night because it was just too funny. So if you don't know RB and Chief, I recommend that you go and check it out. It might be a bit dated, but to me, it will always be the classic in my heart. I will always go. Even to this day, if I'm like hungover or if I'm just tired and don't want to do anything, I will put RB and Chief on my TV, and I'll just sit there and watch all day. Because to me, it's still one of the most entertaining shows I've ever seen on YouTube. And of course, the most I wouldn't say like probably one of the most like culture starting guys on YouTube, and everyone's going, no, this guy, because he was the biggest for a while. And no, it's not Fred. If you fucking thought it was Fred, no, it wasn't Fred. Who I'm talking about is the man who started, to me, kind of started commentary type videos or review videos or reaction videos or making fun videos. The guy before Tosh.0, the man, Ray William Johnson, and I just stuttered over his name, and that's terrible. Ray William Johnson. There you go. I said it fine. Ray William Johnson. If you guys don't know who Ray William Johnson is, you've been living underneath the cave, because he was big for years. Before his final episode of Equal 3, he was actually number one most subscribed on YouTube. Had a huge following. Went from doing like finding 3 videos and talking about him in his college apartment to like a professional set. He was the starter of just making fun of videos. But it isn't, he didn't do it like how they do it nowadays, where they're trying to actually like destroy someone's creativity or destroy someone's personality. Pretty much what I do now. He didn't do it like that. He came with a very happy, like go lucky, just poke a little bit of fun. Not me. I'm a savage, and I can 100% tell you that I am a savage. That's the way I am. That's the way I've always been, you know? But he was hands down the guy that started what so many YouTubers do nowadays, which is making fun of our YouTubers' content or making fun of news reports or making fun of anything like that. It was all because of Ray William Johnson. And when he left Equals 3, his content went to shit. And if he watches this, which I don't know why he would, but if he does watch this, I'm sorry, but going from Equals 3 to those little skits that are on your Facebook and like are on your YouTube now, you blew it. And believe it or not, he wanted the Equals 3 thing to still go, so he hired some people to be the new hosts. And they did not work out. No, don't get me wrong, they did give it their best. I remember there was a girl on there, like top 8 or top 10 list, and then there was a guy who actually hosted Equals 3. The girl I liked more, her content of the top 10s, because they were on Facebook and they were cool, but no one could take over what Ray William Johnson was doing for Equals 3. And to this day, I kind of wish that he'd do a comeback just because I want to see if he could actually do it again and like hit what he was before. I feel like maybe he actually could, but if he couldn't, like at least give it a try, because I'd definitely re-sub to him if he went back to Equals 3, because come on, he's the one who started what YouTube is nowadays. That's why I believe. I could be wrong. People will probably say, yeah, Leafy did it, but Leafy's a dick. So those are the 5 that I've watched throughout my life, but I will add one more. So there's going to be a 6th, which is the man Fluffy Talks. Fluffy Talks is hands down a pioneer of YouTube, and I will always say that about him. He has always been on YouTube. Even to this day, I resub to him on BoyStick and I think on the Honestly Lazy Show just to show my support. This guy's been making a living off YouTube since about, when did I start watching him? When I was 13. That's when I first started watching him, and he's still on YouTube. He was pulling in a lot of views back in the day. Nowadays, he's still pulling in views, but his content has changed completely since when I first started watching him. And what I mean by that is when I first started watching Fluffy Talks, he'd find funny news reports and he'd make fun of them. Kind of like a Philip DeFranco, but funnier. Philip DeFranco is more of a serious guy, but Fluffy Talks would just find these like ridiculous reports that were true, and he would just be like, oh, how does this even happen? There's one where the guy had like 40 plants of weed, and he made it look like a bush, and no one knows for weeks. There was one where a kid drank a shit ton of gasoline because he wanted to be a transformer. There was a 13-year-old dad, like a bunch of unique type of video or content that are news reports. I am so sorry. Like I'm saying, I'm still getting used to being this guy. He would make fun of him in such a unique way, and that's what I loved about him. And I'm not saying that I don't like him now. I don't watch him as much now because his content has changed so much. I can't fucking speak after a half hour of talking. What he does now is he does bad tattoos, bad drunk texts, just like bad stuff, and he reads them. He finds them probably on Reddit or on the internet. He does do a lot of research, but it isn't the Fluffy that I always loved and respected. But to this day, he is still making money, and for fuck's sakes, my camera went out. Give me 1 second, guys. But yeah, it's not the guy that I like. And he's still doing it, and he has 1 million subscribers. H3H3 follows him. H3H3 follows him on Twitter. He must be doing something right, and he still uploads pretty much every single day. Definitely one of the guys I will always respect. And he was actually, when you look back at the old BoyStick videos, before I started doing commentary, that's what I looked at those type of videos where you just sat in front of a camera and you talked. I didn't do news reports because I suck at reading, and I don't really like reading the news. But that's the style of video that's what I started out as. And in college, is when I got introduced to what I do now, which was literally H3H3. Never heard of H3H3 until I went to college. And I watched how they did their videos, and I was like, if I'm going back to content creating, because at that point I wasn't even sure if I was going to go back, I want to be like H3H3. Nowadays their content isn't that good, but back in like when I first started watching them, those reaction videos were like on point. But yeah, so there's the 6, because I had to add Fluffy Talks because that dude is Canadian and a pioneer to YouTube. Actually, Tanu's show is Canadian too. Well, I got a few Canadians on my little list. But like I said, those guys are the guys that I will always respect, and the guys that I always kind of made me want to try something new. And I don't know what to say now. It's been a half hour. Oh, and people say I can do radio. Did you not hear me just stuttering? But yes, that is the first ever episode of the Honestly Lazy podcast. Let me know what you think, because that was all straight off the top of my head. I probably could have made this a lot better if I maybe sat down and watched your old videos again. I got a feeling down the road I will do another 5 YouTubers that I watched back in the day, because I watched a shit ton back in the day that I'll always respect. From old school RuneScape players to, I'd have to even go back to my first channel. I did used to watch a lot of skateboarding guys, like Eric Valentek. I would just go, I remember for a while, I subscribed to this one YouTube channel, and it was all just random skate stuff. But, yes. Okay. I'm going to end it here because this room is getting extremely hot. I don't know if you can see the sweat on my face, but I am sweating very much. But that's the first episode. I made it through. I'm proud of myself. And I don't even know what I'm going to do for the second episode yet, but I'm at least filming 4 of these before I upload my first one, or I'll probably just upload it. I don't know. I'll see how I'm feeling. But yes, this is a new thing for the Honestly Lazy website, for the Honestly Lazy YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because the Honestly Lazy channel is going to just be a bunch of random shit soon. I guarantee it. And I feel like you guys are really, really, really going to like it. And if you don't, then I don't know, leave a dislike. But until the next episode of Honestly Lazy Show, or I'm so used to saying that. Until the next episode of the Honestly Lazy podcast, it's your boy Stick, and I'll see you next time. Take her easy, everybody.